My name is John Emmerich, and I'm a physical therapist assistant. I've been practicing for 33 years in outpatient physical therapy with a niche in sports medicine. In 2018, I was part of the We Challenge to climb Mount Kilimanjaro to help raise funds and awareness to end sexual slavery and human trafficking. I've been asked to compile some exercises for you for those of you who are going on the We Trek to End Trafficking to Everest Base Camp. So what I want to focus on today are three primary areas. I want to focus on core strengthening, some functional exercises, and thirdly, stretching. So for the plank exercise, what you're going to do is you're going to come down on your elbows, and you want to make sure that your elbows are under your shoulders. Your back is flat, so I'm not sagging my hips, nor am I sticking my butt up in the air. And it's same with the shoulders. I'm staying nice and flat with those shoulder blades, and I'm holding this about 30 seconds. Again, my head should be relatively neutral. I'm not down here. I'm not up there. So the next one I like to do is a lateral plank. So you're going to get on your side. Again, you're going to try to keep that elbow right on your shoulder. You're going to bring the hips up in alignment, hopefully. I think they are. And you're going to make a T with your arms. And again, you're holding this 30 seconds. So you don't want to sag. You don't want to get up too high. Keeping the knees locked as well. Tummy nice and tight. Okay, my third one I like to do is called a bird dog. And what you're going to do is you get on your hands and knees. I like to use make a fist. It can be a little bit on your wrist, a little bit if you go down. If you're comfortable with that, go for it. So what you're going to do, nice and slow and controlled, is you're going to alternate and extend the right arm, left leg, and then left arm, right leg. Okay, now here's the key as you're doing this. Everybody wants to go fast, because faster is easier, and they want to go, your brain says the higher I get that leg and arm, the better. Well, watch what happens to my low back when I do that. See how I'm twisting my low back here? All right, so right here, right here. And then don't let the toes touch the ground. That adds a whole nother element of balance into this as you're trying to do it. 3 sets of 10 of these guys. The next exercise I'd like to show you is what's called a step down. So what you're going to do is find a stair. Could be a stair at home. I happen to bring my step with me here, or a lot of times out in nature, a rock works really well. So I'm using a pole for balance, and if you're really good, you don't even have to do that. If you're on your stairs at home, use your railing. Now the key with hand support is it's just for balance. Your tendency is you're going to want to cheat and push down. So if I'm going to work my right leg, I'm going to bring my left leg out in front of me, straighten that knee, pull the toes up at the bottom. I'm going to bend my right knee, don't let my hips drop, keep my hips level, and back up. Now, this step's a little high for me to demonstrate all the way down, but see the tendency there is to reach with my toe and or push up with the toe. That's why I like to have people pull the toe up, pretend there's an egg under your heel, and you don't want to break it. So the right leg is doing all the work. So if I don't even use the pole, it's a real nice, tough exercise. This really helps when you're going downhill. Downhill takes more strength than going uphill. This is a really nice supplemental exercise. 3 sets of 10, both legs. I'd like to show you the correct way to do a squat and a lunge. And I'll show you the incorrect way. Most people squat, they let their knees come forward over their toes. Okay, they squat down like that. Puts a lot of force on your kneecaps. You're asking to do most of the work with your quads and a lot with your glutes. Your glutes are really strong. So a correct way to squat, if you think of like a football player, stick your butt up. Don't let your knees come over the front of your toes, okay? So a lunge is the same thing. You're just doing it one leg at a time. So you're going to take a big step forward, and then what you think, don't think about so much the right knee in front, the front knee. Think about what's happening with the back knee. Think like there's an anchor off the bottom of that left knee, and you're just going to lower yourself down and pushing up through that right heel, through the front heel. and coming up. That's going to kick in the glutes and the quads quite a bit, all right? And do these nice and slow. Notice I'm not letting my knee moves a tiny bit forward, but I'm not lunging like this, going way forward. I'm just going straight up, straight down. You're going to want to cheat a little and turn your hips forward, keep them squared off, up and down, just like that. Now, if you want to add a little resistance to this, you can use some dumbbells. In my case, I have a gallon of water, 8 pounds in each hand, all right? So it's straight up and down, nice and slow and controlled. Now, the advanced version of this is what's called a traveling lunge. So I like to tweak a traveling lunge just a little bit. What you're going to do is you're going to take your step and then you're going to shift your weight forward ever so much so that when you come up, it's almost like a one-legged squat. When you come here, up, the tendency is going to be this. You're going to want to cheat and push up with that back leg. All right, so again, it's the front leg doing all the work. Like that. And you can just travel as long as your quads will take you. Now the next exercise is one of my really favorite ones because it works your leg in every possible vector direction that you could encounter when you're hiking or just in life in general. These are called balance reaches. So if you imagine a clock on the ground in front of you and you're standing where the hands meet in the middle, what you want to do is you're going to stand on that stance leg, my right leg this time, I always pick my right, and you're going to balance. Reach to 12 as far as you can, actually without touching the ground. Come back to standing. You're not letting this leg cheat and touch your other leg or touch the ground, nor are you locking your right knee. So you're keeping that right leg working the whole time. So I just did 12. There's 1, 2, 3 comes behind you. And if you're not comfortable going too far, just go as far as you can. And then as you get stronger at this, there's 4. I'm going to skip a few numbers. I'm going to go to about a 7. Let's do 9. And you can see I'm all over the place with my hands assisting with my balance, okay? So you go all the way around the clock. Don't rush these. Slower is better. You're going to work harder with these. And you can see it's working your leg in every possible direction. I like to do these at the end of my workout, especially after a strength training, because my legs are already fatigued, and this way I'm really challenging. I do 2 sets clockwise, take a break, 2 sets counterclockwise, each leg. Great exercise. Okay, let's talk about stretching a little bit. Stretching is really important. I used to be really tight as a kid. I was a runner, I was a weightlifter, I never stretched, and then I started to have problems. I got really tight and started to have pain around my joints. Turns out, all it was I needed a stretch. Now, if you're not used to stretching, it can be a little tedious at first, but what's real important, you do not stretch into pain. All pain will do is elicit a stretch reflex, which makes the muscle even tighter. And then the next day you're usually sore and you're going, I'm not doing this stretching thing. What's John talking about? He's crazy. So a stretch, here what I like to tell people to do is take your finger, pull it back until you feel a slight pull. Go until it hurts, okay? That's too far then, all right? So that's all you're doing is stretching the muscle in your forearm. That's the same thing you're gonna do with the rest of your body. I like to hold stretches about 30 seconds and really try to relax into it and do your breathing. And if you're not certain what 30 seconds is, most people know the Jeopardy theme song. Twice through is exactly 30 seconds. I tell all my patients to stretch that long. So let's start with a hip flexor stretch. All these stretches I'm going to show you, you don't need any equipment. Most of it you can actually even do standing up. So if I'm going to stretch my right hip flexor, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a shortened stance for a lunge, if you think of it that way, or just like a step. And I'm going to tilt my pelvis back like this, and I'm bending from my hip joint. I'm not bending from my back, I'm bending from my hip joint back, and you should feel a little pull right here. The tendency is you're going to want to turn in. I want you to keep that that nice and flat. And yeah, hey, you're getting a little ab workout with this as well. It's subtle. It's all it takes, 30 seconds. You're going to be using your hip flexors quite a bit when you're hiking uphill, so this is a real important stretch to do. Next is a quad stretch. So I'm just going to use this pole for balance, and you're just going to grab your quad, your heel, excuse me. You're going to grab your foot underneath you and just stand nice and tall. Now I'm going to go profile to show you what the cheating tendency is. It's to come forward and let that leg out, all right? So make sure you tuck it under, pull it back, you're nice and tall. You should feel a stretch in front of your quad. Again, hold it about 30 seconds, nice easy pull. Okay, let's move into a hamstring stretch. Okay, so with a hamstring stretch, what you're going to do with this one is you're going to put your right leg forward. Again, just pick on the right leg. We're going to do these for both sides. I'm going to keep a slight bend in my knee, real important. Most people want to lock this out. Slight bend. I'm going to keep my hips forward, hands in front of me. I'm bending from the hips, so note my low back is still nice and flat. And for me, I don't have to go far. I've got a nice pull right here in my hamstring. Okay, 30 seconds. That's a hamstring stretch. Easy. Calf stretch, you can almost always find an incline in nature. So I just happen to pick up this rock. Probably not the best one. It's not the worst one. So all you got to do, you put your heel down, lean forward a little bit, pull in the calf. A variation of this too, to hit the soleus muscle, which is right here, it's not the calf muscle up here, is, let's do my left leg, is you bend the left knee, bend that left knee just slightly forward. You'll feel this a little lower down in your calf. It's exactly where you want to feel it. Again, 30 seconds. Okay, another exercise I like to do for the back, I like to call these corkscrews. So what you're going to do is you're going to lay on your side. You're going to make sure that your bottom leg stays down. Front leg's forward. You're going to rest the top heel on your leg, holding this knee down, and then you're just going to open up, turn the head, come around, and back. And do this about 4 or 5 times. So hip stretch I like to do to get the IT band is you're just going to sit, cross one leg over the other, keep that right hip down, and then you're going to pull across, all right? Now my IT bands are kind of tight, so I don't have to go far. Some people can do this even further. Some people like to put a little twist on it. I wouldn't twist too much. Remember, this is not a low back stretch. This is to stretch out the IT band, and you're going to get a little bit of glute in this. So another nice stretch for the thoracic spine, which is about right here. This is really good after a long day of hauling your pack around. What you're going to do is you're going to take your hands behind your head. Okay, now you're not pulling on the neck, real important. You're just setting them there. Elbows pointed to the ceiling, or the sky in this case. And it's not much motion. You're just trying to crunch that thoracic spine together, just like this. You can actually do this standing if you want, but the tendency if you stand is you're going to arch your back. Okay, it's a little motion right here. Feels really good. You'll feel about 1.5 inches taller after you do it. I do about 4 or 5 of those. Think of those as throughout the day to do them. Also, you can just pull your shoulder blades back throughout the day as well too with your pack on. That's nice to give a little relief, or even lift that pack up occasionally. All right, folks, so that's my exercise routine, my suggestions. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or comments as well. I hope to answer as much as I can. And as you get closer and closer to the date that you're going to go to Everest, just visualize it, enjoy it. You're going to have a blast. The new people you're going to meet in Nepal and your team, you're going to gel as another family. It's going to be a life-changing experience, and I hope these tips and exercises will help you get there. Take care.